Systemic sin, systemic evil. This is something that in Christian theology we've known about for a very, very long time, despite the fact that our patterns, particularly in the West, led us to kind of hide it or not emphasize it in the same way. We really turned in the West to the individual, and there's a lot at stake there. But I have to say, at one level, one of the reasons why we did this was because of the failure of the church to be the church in the Reformation. We made a deal with a kind of secular authority that says, well, we'll divide things up. So the church will be more worried about individual souls, individual sin, but society, politics, all these things, this is the realm of the state. And we'll make a deal with you that we'll let you handle that and we'll handle this over here. And so the result is we're now trained to not think systemically about sin, much less salvation. We've been trained, and it's still the case, we still hear this kind of talk all the time, even though we know better now. We still think about salvation as me going to heaven when I die, rather than God liberating creation to be what it was made to be. We think about sin as moral acts that I did or did not do, that I'm guilty of or not guilty of, rather than a system at work in the world, a power at work that infects all of us, and not just me individually, but my relationships, and every institution that we try to build, including the church, is affected by this thing, right? In the Old Testament, it talks about God saying, the sin of the fathers will be visited on the children. And in modernity, as individuals, we just recoil at that, like that's so unjust, right? But anybody who's got a family with alcoholism in it or abuse in it recognizes that we aren't individuals with this stuff. We inherit this stuff. We participate in it. Trauma is not something that individuals just experience, but it's part of family systems that gets passed down. We're inevitably at one, even in our sin, with each other, right? Acknowledging this and recognizing that, gosh, it's not even just my responsibility to deal with my own moral acts and all that, but to recognize how pervasive all of this is. And then to, I was going to say to act accordingly, but honestly, I think that the thing we do is we confess. We have to acknowledge that things are really screwed up. Right? And what if that's one of the primary gifts of the church? What if the church is the only community in the world that's actually going to say, here's what's really happening. It's actually this bad. Right? What if confession of sin is one of the biggest gifts we can offer in lament, in acknowledgement of injustice and all of this, I think we can offer more than that. But what if that's one of the key things?